My name is Elizabeth. I am the Vice Chancellor of the Tamil Nadu National Law University at Tiruchirappalli. And I'll be delivering the welcome address, after which we will have the rest of the programs, which I will let you know as and when. So I request all of you to kindly keep yourself muted while I do the speaking. And when I'm introducing the faculty colleagues, as well as some of our administrative staff, especially the officers, I request you to switch on your videos so that the incoming batches and their parents and guardians can see who these officers and staff of TNNLU are. So with that, let me begin. A very good morning to everyone. Respected Registrar, Ms. Leela, my colleagues, both in the teaching and administrative sections of the Tamil Nadu National Law University, parents and guardians of the students admitted to TNNLU, and dear students. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the Tamil Nadu National Law University. We are now in our 9th year. You have become a part of the community that is slowly growing and beginning to make an impact both regionally and nationally. Yeah, just give me a minute. The BA LLB Honors Batch of 2026 is the 9th batch of TNNLU, while the BCom LLB Honors Batch is the 8th batch to be admitted to TNNLU, and the 2022 batch of LLM students is only our 4th batch. The LLM program is the youngest program, and we hope to be launching our PhD program shortly this year. Next year, TNNLU will enter the 10th year of its existence. In comparison with most of the 23 odd NLUs, TNNLU is only an infant, but an infant who is healthy and steadily making strides towards childhood despite the pandemic and other challenges. Happy Teachers' Day to all my colleagues here and those amongst you who are teachers by profession. On this Teachers' Day, I remember all my teachers who recognized my uniqueness, protected and provided me the opportunities to grow, who instilled a love for learning and guided me to the books that have transformed my mind and my life, and in turn have led me to become the kind of teacher I have been and continue to be. I salute each one of my colleagues who are here today, who have built TNNLU brick by brick, so that it has come to take its place alongside the other national law universities in its own right. It is the sacrifice of my colleagues, both the teaching as well as the administrative staff, their dedication and commitment, their patience and forbearance, which has enabled TNNLU to produce 4 successful batches of undergraduates and 3 batches of postgraduates who have already found their place in the world, in teaching, in the law firms, in the judiciary, and in other walks of life, including law firms. I wish you all the very best and all success in all your endeavors as you continue to strive to excel to make TNNLU the best national law university in the country. At the same time, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for the way in which you have supported and cooperated with me during this past pandemic year, especially our administrative staff, without whose constant support and cooperation, none of our classes online could have happened, no activity taken off, no exam conducted on time, results published at the proper time, and more importantly, without whose constant watchfulness and doing what most of us do not want to do, pour over files carefully, will the university even function. Under the dedicated and hardworking leadership of our Registrar, Ms. Leela, the administrative section of our university is the backbone that keeps the university together. And of course, at this time, I want to remember all those of our countrywomen, men and children, and those around the world who have been gravely impacted by this ongoing pandemic. I salute their enduring spirit and forbearance, and with humility, I call upon all of us here to realize how privileged we are that we have been able to successfully complete the admission process to TNNLU through these gravely difficult times. I know that there may be many amongst us here today who have been infected by COVID-19, survived hospitalization. Some of us may even have lost dear ones to this pandemic. Others may have lost jobs or at least had pay cuts as a result of this pandemic. As survivors of this pandemic and seeking the grace and mercy of our Almighty God, let us be thankful for what we do have and vow to use our talents and resources to make a positive difference in the world around us. The students admitted to the undergraduate programs of TNNLU may have joined with dreams of making it big, earn big salaries, and so pull their families to better economic status, while others may have joined with the ambition to become a great lawyer, a well-known judge, a reputed civil servant, etc. And there may be some among you who aspire to work on behalf of the downtrodden, the marginalized in our society. I appreciate each of the intentions with which you have sought admission to TNNLU. The legal profession is one which can either be about personal gains or about public service, and occasionally both. But it is the backbone of any society. It is through laws that a country is governed, that the values by which a people live are given. We in India have our constitution as a foundation of our society. It has created a new country which has now celebrated its 75th year of independence. The constitution has given us new values, even as it has continued with the former colonial structures of administration, judiciary, the police system, etc. But it is the values enshrined in our constitution that ought to guide our goals, our relationships with one another, and the shaping of the society around us. No matter which community, class, caste, region we come from, no matter what our gender is, let us remember that under the Constitution, we have to respect the principles of justice, liberty, equality for all, the principle of fraternity amongst all of us as Indians, and above all, uphold the dignity of each and every individual that cannot be sacrificed no matter what tradition, what history, what culture we might be believing in. Law cannot be separated from the culture and social content of any country. The reason that there are so many different legal systems in the world is because there are so many different kinds of societies and cultures. Each people have their own aspirations and goals, and each group of people have their own needs and wants. We cannot universalize these things. To be able to understand these different wants and aspirations, we need to have a knowledge of the society we live in, the people who make up that society, their history, and how that economy functions. It is for this reason that the revolution in legal education brought about through the experiment that the National Law School of India University, Bangalore was, included the study of history, political science, sociology, and economics into the curriculum of the undergraduate program in law. Since then, it was felt that it is not enough to produce graduates that will go on to practice law in the courts, become judicial officers and policy makers. It is equally important to provide a good foundation for those who will enter into other professions like management, finance, banking, etc. And therefore, at TNNLU, we also have introduced the BCom LLB Honors Program. Both the programs involve the study of law from an interdisciplinary perspective. Each of the disciplines borrow from and support one another in their bid to understand what will best work in the society in which we live. Let us not, in this pursuit of knowledge and wealth, forget our Creator, because of whose grace we all live and breathe and have our being. Without a relationship with Him, we cannot make a difference with our lives. At the same time, if we cannot care for the ones who look like us, eat, behave like us, live around us, how can we worship our Maker who is a spirit and whom we should worship in spirit and in truth? Dear people, I want you to understand that in order to build something, to make something of our lives, it is extremely important that we begin our journey by taking stock of our God-given talents. Each one of us is a unique creation of God. No two people on this earth are similar in all respects. There is not another Elizabeth any more than there is another you. Only I can do what I do, just as only you can do what you do. You can have another vice chancellor, but not someone who will think like me, work like me, feel like me. It is important we realize that we are irreplaceable in the lives of those around us. But let us not imagine that we are indispensable. No, like I said earlier, you can have another person as the Vice Chancellor of TNNLU, someone who will be better than I in many respects. None of us should have the arrogance to think that the world cannot do without us. But what value we bring to the world around us, only we as individuals can bring. That cannot be substituted. My parents cannot have another daughter like me. My siblings cannot have another sister like me. My friends cannot have another friend like me. Neither can my students have another teacher like me. So let us celebrate who we are. To do that, you need to know who you are. With each one of us distinctly unique, and we must therefore not try to be like someone else. Let us find out what is our talent. To find out what your special, unique talents are, ask yourself the following questions. What kind of activities am I naturally drawn to? What kind of activities am I able to pick up without much effort? In which activities did the steps come automatically? While pursuing which activities did I lose track of time? In which activities did you have the wow moments? How did I do that? Did I really do that? Which activities make you impatient to do it again, excited to do it again? Think about the answers you give to these questions that will help you slowly discover yourself, and self-discovery is the first step towards discovering your destiny in this world. God has made you a first-class original. Do not become a cheap copy. He has made you in his image. So remember, you are a masterpiece, and therefore excel at whatever gift he has bestowed on you. Congratulations on having embarked on your journey to discover yourself and learn about the law. Wish you all the very best as you proceed. Enjoy the journey that is the Tamil Nadu National Law University. Thank you for listening to me. I welcome you all once again very warmly to the Tamil Nadu National Law University community. Now and till you die, you are part of this community. I want to take a few moments to briefly share with you the structure of TNNLU so that you will have an understanding of how the university functions till you can come and live on the campus and interact with everyone. I'm just going to briefly share with you a very short PowerPoint so that you can see for yourself, what the mission and vision of TNNLU are, as well as an idea of the brief structure of TNNLU. Once again, welcome to the Tamil Nadu National Law University, Tiruchirappalli. This is the orientation program for the incoming batches of 2021-22. The mission of the Tamil Nadu National Law University is to impart quality legal education nurtured within a robust culture of interdisciplinary research and teaching in an equitable, respectful, and supportive environment, producing legal practitioners and scholars who will be committed to justice, social transformation, and national development. As you can see, this is not a factory producing graduates to work in the law firms or in companies or even, for the various other sectors. Our objective is to produce legal practitioners and scholars. And the three goals they should have are justice, social transformation, and national development, because we live in a very unequal society, unequal in terms of gender, caste, class, and other factors. And therefore, social transformation is a necessity. At the same time, we are a growing economy, and therefore national development has to be a commitment towards which all of us strive. And that can best be done through the use of an interdisciplinary culture, both in research as well as in teaching. The vision of TNNLU is to achieve global recognition as an institution of eminence and excellence in all spheres of legal education, rooted in an interdisciplinary approach to the study of law, such that the graduates of the Tamil Nadu National Law University will be independent, critical thinkers and socially responsible human beings, not just copying every person who is, having the loudest voice or the biggest presence on social media, but having independent critical thinking, not following blindly, but questioning everything before believing in it. These are the officers and the governing bodies of the Tamil Nadu National Law University. The Chancellor, who is the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court, and currently it is Justice Sanjeev Banerjee, who is the Chancellor of the Tamil Nadu National Law University. The Pro-Chancellor of TNNLU is the Law Minister in the government of Tamil Nadu. And then comes, of course, the Vice-Chancellor. After the Vice-Chancellor is a Registrar, who takes care of all the administrative matters, including the development of the campus. Then comes the finance officer. We have three governing bodies: the General Council. The chairperson of the General Council is the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court, who is also our Chancellor. The Executive Council, the Vice Chancellor presides over the meetings. And then you have the Academic Council, which is also chaired by the Vice Chancellor. We have the Finance Committee, which looks at all the finance-related matters, including what kind of fees, what salaries to be paid, any money that is needed for any of our activities. And the Vice-Chancellor is a chairperson of that committee as well. Under the registrar, we have the deputy registrar. We have three assistant registrars: assistant registrar administration, assistant registrar finance, and assistant registrar purchase. We have an administrative section which comes directly under the assistant registrar administration. You'll be introduced to each of the personnel in the course of today. The finance section, of course, is under the administration of the finance officer. We have the academic section, which takes care of all academic related matters. They prepare the academic schedule for each semester, the timetable, as well as the various programs which have to be incorporated into the academic schedule. The academic committee is the one under which the academic section functions. The academic committee consists of faculty and administrative staff, and I will introduce them to you soon. Then we have the examination section of the examination department. The faculty in charge of examinations, in the absence of a controller of exams, heads the examination department. We also have the administrative staff in the examination department who all work under the examination committee, which consists completely of the members of the faculty of TNNLU. And we have a growing library, which is taken care of by our consultant librarian. There is an assistant librarian, and underneath the assistant librarian, we have a few administrative staff who are all responsible for maintaining the library and keep adding to it and helping you even online with what access you want to particular books and journals. Then TNNLU is one of the two national law universities in the entire country which has a legal history museum, and we have just appointed a curator to take care of the museum and to develop it to become the best legal history museum in the entire country, if not in the world. We have a very small collection right now, but I'm hoping within the next 1 year, it will become a much better collection. Then, of course, when you come to live on the campus, you will get to know about the hostel administration. There are faculty who are in charge of the hostels, the men's hostel and the women's hostel. We have wardens who live in the hostel or close to it. Then we have the mess and the housekeeping, which are outsourced. Both the hostels from this year will have separate messes as well. Research is one of the things that are absolutely essential for any university to thrive, grow, and to be able to develop a constant relationship with the policy making and with the needs of our society. TNNLU has 12 such research centers. The first three ones were already set up in TNNLU before I took charge. The Center for Research and Writing, with which all of you should be closely connected and interact with. You learn more about it in the course of the orientation over the next 2-3 weeks. Then we have the Center for Competition Law, which is recognized by the Competition Commission of India. Then the Center for Labor and Development, which focuses exclusively on both the labor in the formal and informal sectors, as well as connecting it with the development of the entire nation. We have 2 centers which were set up thanks to the generosity of the government of Tamil Nadu, and because of my interest in these 2 areas, the Legal Center for Women's Welfare and the Legal Center for the History of South India. Apart from that, we have set up another 7 new research centers last year. The Center for Law and Agriculture, the Center for Study and Advocacy of Human Rights, the Center for Studies in Victimology, the Center for Studies in Access to Justice, Center for Investment Laws, Center for Alternate Dispute Resolution, Center for Studies in Environmental and Natural Resources Law. The reason I'm mentioning all these research centers, both for our undergraduate and postgraduate students, is that if you're interested, you can contact the faculty in charge of these centers and find, research work that you can do in the course of the time that you spend here at TNNLU.